this is red and true. She will work for you. Voting Sonia, we voting Sonia, we voting Sonia, we voting. Civil servants get downgraded, can't get a raise of pay. All of them bawling, crying tears. We getting rape all the tricks, can't get a pothole fix, can't get a bus no night or day. 10 years stress and strain had the whole country in pain. 10 years had patrons going insane. All of them must go, can't get the lashes no more. So you see, we voting PLP. Who you voting for? Sonia Browne. Who you voting for? Sonia Browne. Voting who? Sonia Browne. Who you voting for? Sonia. Taxes to make you sick, can't see what they do with it. Some say they burn it up real quick. When you think they're done with me, 90 days of salary, and we can't pay university. 10 years we in pain, while them shouting whole strain. And the farmers, they want to cut the canes. All of them must go, can't get the lashes no more. So you see, we voted VLP. Who you voting for? Sonia Browne. Who you voting for? Sonia Browne. Voting who? Sonia Browne. Who you voting for? Sonia Browne. Who you voting for? Sonia Browne. Who you voting for? Sonia Browne. Voting who? Sonia Browne. Who you voting for? Sonia Browne. We in this thing together, we voting Sonia. 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 We in this thing together, we voting.
Good night to Moncrief, Station Hill, and others in the hearing of our voice. We invite you tonight to be with us during this meeting. We don't promise to be any length, but we will be here with you, and afterwards be able to help you to share your concerns with us. And therefore, we invite your presence as we come together to support the candidature of Dr. Sonia Browne from the Barbados Labour Party, St. Philip North constituency. As is all right, we have a fancy to begin our sessions with prayer, and we want to indulge your attention in a moment while we have a brief word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks and praise for all your blessings. We thank you for your love. We thank you, dear God, for the mercies that you've extended to us today. for you have kept us all safely, and by your goodness you have brought us to this place. We invite your presence in this hour, Lord. We pray that you will direct everything that is said and done from this platform tonight, as we endeavor to educate and to help others to understand what living in this country is all about, and what living in this constituency is all about, and help them to appreciate that with their help, better can be done. We pray, Lord, that you will direct everything, and grant, dear God, that the ears that are open will hear and will listen, and that, dear Lord, in the end your name will receive all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise. For we ask all these blessings in the name of Jesus and for his sake. Amen and amen. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for your presence with us tonight. Whether you are on the outside or within your house, you are within the hearing of our voice. And we have come here tonight to help you to decide what is best for our country. We are looking for a better life for all our citizens. For the last 8 years, we have had it extremely rough, especially in the last 5 years. And a lot of you would have had a lot of challenges right where you are. You have challenges with your bills. You have challenges with your whole life and everything that you endeavor to do. But we want to come to you tonight to let you know that there is hope. There is hope that is available through the Barbados Labour Party, and with your help, we will be able to bring home successfully the candidate for the area, Dr. Sonia Browne. We ask that you would listen to us earnestly, and that you would be welcome to invite and be invited to ask any question that you may want to ask of us at the end of this session, because we are here to listen to you, not just to tell you what we would want to do, but we want to hear from you, because we intend to improve the situation all together. We are in this together, and therefore we are inviting your help. We listened over the last couple of days, and we have heard some of the most insulting language that have come from the opponents. We have listened, and we realize that even our existing outgoing parliamentary representative, he has been party to all the onslaught that they have levied against our women, and especially our leader, Mayor Amor Mortley. But yet they haven't yet told you how they're going to try to turn the economy around. They are the ones who have put us in the mess that we are in tonight. And we are among the worst in the Caribbean, if not the worst at this time, where the economy is concerned. Can you imagine that countries like St. Vincent and St. Lucia, and what we used to call the small island, that their economies are growing, they are developing, and yet we in Barbados are finding it hard to even have a 1% growth in our economy? Well, that may not mean a lot to all of you, but I want to say to you, you will understand it better when you go into the supermarket and you have to purchase your items, when you pick up the things in your basket or your trolley, and when you get to the cashier, you realize that it is costing you more than the money that you have in your pocket. This is as a result of all the taxes that have been levied upon us. And as a result of that, many people have been putting back some of the groceries. Many people have been shifting their bills from week to week. And lots of people are running deeper and deeper in debt. There's no money left in our pockets after the bills are paid and after the food is bought. But the Barbados Labour Party has a plan to change all of that. Some of you might have seen and may have handled the new manifesto that has been released. And if you haven't yet, I think when you get a hold of it, you'll understand that they're not just promises, but they're emblems of hope for all of us. And we have some speakers tonight who will tell you from their hearts what they think could be done to help. There are those who will tell you what they think is the cause for the situation that we are in tonight. And so we want to give them a listening ear. To come to speak to you first out, a young man that I have known for many, many years. He's been around politics since 1974, and he was a resident of St. Peter. But now he is permanently residing in St. Philip. Now he has been given his passport to the Republic of St. Philip. And so we welcome him. He has been a president of the Barbados Labour Party St. Philip branch, St. Peter branch, on the way back when with Burton Hines, and then more recently with Owen Arthur. And now as he resides in St. Philip, he is taking an active part in the politics of the Barbados Labour Party because that's where his heart is. But even more so, he is taking to heart the plight of the people of St. Philip, especially in St. Philip North, because he is a resident here. And so I want you to put your hands together this evening and welcome to the podium Mr. Hayden Vaughan. Mr. Vaughan, come and speak to the people tonight.
We're rolling with BLB, it's one chance to make this right.
Good night to you, the good people of Moncrief and the surrounding areas of this district. If some of you all will remember, last year Dr. Browne, myself and some other folks, we canvassed every house in this district, particularly those of you who are at home. Those who are not at home, I'm sure you would have been told that Dr. Browne had visited you, had visited this district. We listened carefully to your concerns, we listened to your cries, but alas, we were not able to help. But the time has come that we will be able to help the 24th of May. And I'm hoping that each and every one of you will get up off your beds early and go down to your respective polling stations and cast your vote for the Barbados Labour Party and by extension, Dr. Sonia Browne. Now, the last time I canvassed this district with Sonia Browne, you all spoke to us about the cares and concern you had. Primarily among them were a poor bus transportation system. I shall speak to that in a minute. I spoke in my house on this same platform, and I began by asking you, and I've been telling you, that when the Right Excellent Earl Barr in 1986 spoke in the Ivy, he asked, what mirror image do you have of yourself? When you look into the mirror, what mirror image do you see of yourselves? I asked it over there then, and I'll ask it tonight. People of Moncrief, when you look into the mirror, what do you see of yourself? When you look into the mirror image of your credit union account, what do you see? When you look into the mirror image of your bank account, what do you see? When you look into the mirror image of your child or your daughter or son that you want to have a second education, what do you see? When you go at the bus stop on mornings to get to work early, what mirror image do you see? What in the mirror image do you see? Ladies and gentlemen, let me start from the beginning. People are living from pay packet to pay packet in this country, and from paycheck to paycheck. And even then, they are not surviving on that. Like the chairman said just now, people have to go into the supermarkets and the little stores before and check to see what they're going to take up the next 2 days. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the price of food has skyrocketed. People, those of us who go to places like Price Smart and Shop Smart and the little popular stores and so on, you will recognize that the prices have escalated. Can you tell me why the prices have escalated, ladies and gentlemen? Come on, we have the conversation tonight. Why have these prices escalated in this country? The NRSL tax that they have wickedly implemented to your backs instead of the prices of every single item that is bought in a store or supermarket or a street corner out of your riches. People are now being selective of what they can eat and what they can drink. Some people, unfortunately, cannot even put a chicken on their tables on Sunday mornings. They have to go and substitute with something else. I don't talk about saltfish because that price is even over your riches. Ladies and gentlemen, the mirror image that you see and when you look into the mirror is of a life that is not comparable with what you had in 2008. In 2008, you had money in your pockets. People used to eat and drink lavishly in this country because one thing you must do is eat properly. In this country nowadays, today, your food and your drink is not of the standard that you would love to be. But ladies and gentlemen, help is on the way. And I will draw the analogy to you shortly. Can you imagine that a group of people that they say make up the government said that they will take a 10% cut with the civil servants on their salaries? And you know what they did? They gave it back to themselves. They took it back to themselves. And the civil servants that have not had a raise since 2008 have not had 1 cent given to them. Our great leader, Mayor Amor Butley, said that asked the LP government when they were in session to give the civil servants a coping fee. That is something that will help them along until the wages and salaries have been finished, negotiated with the unions. But instead, they have done nothing for you, the civil servants, but themselves. They have arrested and appointed a whole set of persons at this time, and you should have had that years ago. This is nothing that should have happened now. You should have had that appointment years ago, but they have done it now because they think that you have long memories and not short memories. Ladies and gentlemen, I urge you and I plead with you, do not be fooled again. Go in your numbers early and vote for the Barbados Labour Party and Sonia Browne. When I canvassed this constituency with Dr. Browne, one of the main things we heard as we moved along was unemployment. And the young men that were seated over there by the compressors, they spoke to us quite bluntly and sharply. They said to us, jobs, jobs, jobs. As we walked down through the dentistry here, jobs, jobs, jobs. Has that situation improved up here in Moncrief? I've been told no tonight by some persons I was speaking to. But if you go to item 14 on the manifesto of the Barbados Labour Party, it says thus, number 14, empowering young people. Now I just got this document in my hand and I'm not able to explain it as I would love to. But I guess Dr. Browne will deal with that when she comes to the podium, since she was closer to the action for a longer period. But it says here, a BNP government paid the tuition fees for Barbadians to attend the University of the West Indies from September 2018. And listen to this, young men over there on the block, and in your homes if you're listening carefully. Created a national first job program for youth between 16 and 25 years old to gain a government subsidized placement at a business in their field of interest. Now, like I said, I didn't have time to peruse this document, but what this speaks to me is, young men and women, young ladies, is that if you're between the ages of 16 and 25 and you are not working, and you are, say, a plumber, and you can get into a plumbing firm, the government will pay your wages or your salaries, depending on how it is. If you get paid weekly, you get a wage. If you get paid monthly, you get a salary. But depending on what your field of endeavor is, whether you're a carpenter, a mason, a plumber, an electrician, whatever you are, as a young man between 16 and 25, and I must say young ladies, because young ladies do these jobs too. The government, if you can get some place to work, and you can inform the government of the Barbados Labour Party, they will pay your wages and your salaries. And that is called developing a national apprenticeship program. And it goes on here to say, convening an emergency session of professionals dealing with the welfare of children to agree on an immediate plan of action to end the current epidemic of violence in schools. Now, ladies and gentlemen, is this not a government in waiting that displays a caring and sharing attitude to the young people? I'm asking a question. Do you remember that when the Barbados Labour Party was in power, that they did everything they could to help the young people of this nation? We had EduTech. We had people where we had the skills training program, which have been downgraded, scaled down. They're not as prevalent as they were. And we intend to look after the young citizens of this country. They are the Mayor Motleys and the Sonia Brownes of tomorrow. And we have to look after them. So we in the Barbados Labour Party will be doing such. One of the things that our party leader said on Saturday night at the campaign launch was the bus service. The lady over across the street said the bus service out here is still terrible. People waiting for a society bus, a College Savannah bus, a Kendall bus. You can't get a bus. People have been saying that they have been at the bus stop, at the bus station. We have a bus driver in the crowd here. They have been in the bus stands at the bus terminal for over 3 hours waiting on the bus. Just last week I was listening to the call-in program, and a lady from over in Mercedes Street in St. John said you cannot get a bus for Sergeant Street. You cannot get a bus for anywhere. People, the minibus drivers, there must be, minibus owners, they must be commended for trying to help out in the situation. Our party leader has promised to purchase buses, and I hope that you all will remember that the last set of buses that were bought in this country were bought by the Barbados Labour Party. Those Mercedes-Benz Marco Polo buses that you drive in. And although they're old, they still drive well. You understand? Because we have some care drivers who take care of them, like my friend Oaks. Now, ladies and gentlemen, they have buses that have been put there on the side of the Weymouth pastor for years. And our party leader has said that she will instruct the powers at the Transport Board to use some of those buses that have been abandoned as parts departments, where they can put together some of the other buses. Some people use the word cannibalize, but we call it parts department. So that we need at least 120 buses to service this island effectively. I think we're down to 50 buses now, and that is unacceptable. And to think of it, the Minister of Transport is the representative for this parish. Well, I'm submitting to you tonight that I don't know the man, I don't care to know him either, but all I'm saying to you is that we want to have a representative who will hear your concerns. Now, when a man is in a position he gets comfortable and he's assured of your support, he may get complacent. He or she may get complacent. We want to have new representation in this country, in this constituency. And I will tell you why I say we want especially a female representative. The head of government in this country, Her Excellency Dame Sandra Mason, a female. The head of the Barbados Bar Association, Miss Lisa Weeks, a female. The head of the banking system in Barbados, a female. The head of the Barbados Labour Party, a female. And the list goes on, the list goes on, the list goes on. What is so wrong? What is so wrong with having a female representative in St. Philip North? So I had make history in this St. Philip parish. St. Philip is a great parish. You need to keep the history of the females going. And I want every female in this Moncrief to go out and vote in your numbers for a female representative, and her name is Sonia Browne. Thank you. Now we spoke about representation, and sometimes you have to go on the national level to make your point. The rules in Barbados are, can somebody give me a description of the rules in Barbados? How would you describe the rules in Barbados? Somebody said despicable, deplorable. People, the parks department people, and the people are making money. You know why? Because our roads are in a serious state of disrepair. We heard us speak about a $10 million program, or whatever it was, to repair the roads in Barbados. And we thought we could see Williams and everybody digging up the roads. They're dropping some, look how hole there, look. Right in front of a big hole there in front of us. Big pothole here. They drop a little mile in the hole and put a little tar over it. And you know what happened? When the rain falls, the roads are becoming worse than what they were before. There are no proper roads in Barbados. The roads that have been done properly were done between 1994 and 2008 under the Barbados Labour Party. And yes, they have done 1 or 2 roads, yes, in the constituencies, yes, but they have not done enough. And they raised the road taxes, my brothers and sisters, from $200 to $400 for various vehicles, and the heavier you get, the more money you pay. And they said that it was supposed to fix the roads. My God, the roads have gotten better, brothers and sisters. I can't hear you. Have the roads gotten better? Are the roads deserving of your $400 and $450 tax when the year comes? Well, guess what? Guess what? I spoke about this in my house. The chairman can tell you, Dr. Browne herself can tell you. I said that the road tax need to be addressed. And what has happened? Basco got up yesterday and it is written here, the abolition of the road tax. And we are going to put a more equitable tax in place where everybody will pay. So the bigger your vehicle, the more taxes we can get for the fuel tax. So this poor man that got the little Suzuki and the little Toyota Vitz, you will get welcome relief. That is only going to come if you vote the Barbados Labour Party into power. You know why? Because from 2008, tax after tax after tax, wax splat, and what has happened? Nothing has gotten better. Taxes, taxes, taxes. And you know what? All they're doing is not give her. But they say, they ain't giving you it. You know why? They're giving you back your tax return. People have businesses, the VAT become return. The NRSL, the sewage tax, we'll have to dump the tipping fee. All those taxes have been imposed on you. Ladies and gentlemen of Moncrief, why should you go there and vote for the Democratic Labour Party? Why should you go there and vote for another candidate other than Dr. Sonia Browne? I don't know who names her. I don't know. I know who named Clyde Maskell. I know who named Ryan Strawn. I know who named Marshall Carroll when it comes to economics. I don't know he. I know the names that I just called to you. And I know it's Dr. Browne. So all I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, help is coming on the way. And let me ask you all a question again. I want you all to answer me. When the Barbados Labour Party is in power, you don't have more spending power. You don't have more money in your pocket. Right? You remember the last election, or an officer said he's going to put money in your pockets? You remember that? And what happened after that? When they booted us out, what happened? You get more money in your pocket or you get less? And people begging about for bus fare and all country to get work. This is a fact. People are begging for bus fare. People are more grief. I know somebody in this district went to somebody and said, I want bus fare to get work. I don't know who they are, but I know I can guarantee it because it happens all over this place. People are begging for bus fare. People are standing up begging. Pastor Ellis, the chairman of this meeting, will tell you that he has been harassed and inundated with calls for people asking for help. They have to. The people are asking the churches for help because they can't go to the people that you call the government. They're here. You understand? They can say we want taxes. They're doing more than Caesar. And I'm saying to you, I'm saying to us here tonight, you have to vote the Barbados Labour Party into power. Now, I turn to healthcare. When you go to the hospital at night or on mornings, regardless of your... Now, let me just put it here straight. The doctors and nurses at the hospital are very caring people. I can't take less than that. Of course, you know, everybody should have bad apples. But they generally are caring people. But it is a system of healthcare that exists. And God help you when you go into the hospital, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? Years ago, you go into the hospital for a couple of days. You just go in there with clothes and just soap and whatever else. You got to carry every single living thing you want. You got to carry toilet paper. You got to carry tissue paper. You got to carry a sheet. You got to carry everything in that place. Not because of the doctors and nurses, but because of the system. And somewhere in this manifesto, like I said, I just got it. It speaks to what would happen at the hospital. Dr. Browne will lay it out for you. The hospital needs people like Jerome Walcott and people like Dr. Browne to run it. We need people who have caring hearts, who understand what it is all about. We need proper administrators. And Dr. Browne and Dr. Walker and the others associated with this party will not sit around and let the hospital deteriorate as it is. You know, when you go to the hospital, you feel like you're in prison. You go overseas to other hospitals and you see how they're laid out. You don't want to leave where you get well. You don't want to live where you get well, but when they go there first, they want to get back home. I believe that Mr. Ellis. Want to get back home. But like I said, I'm not apportioning blame to the doctors or nurses. It is the administration. Right? You understand? And we have to do better. For people who are so seriously attacked, we should be going into the hospital and have to buy toilet paper and so on. It should never be. You understand? Your taxes, ladies and gentlemen, should be throwing in those things, buying those things for you. You go to the hospital, you have got the clothes, you should be able to go and lay down and convalesce properly. I go on. Like I said, university education. That is part of this manifesto here. Like I said, I just got it, but the next time I speak, I will have to do it better. Your child, people get children for various reasons. One of the reasons people get children is that when they get old, they will have to depend upon Miss Browne next door, or Miss Canterbury, or whoever else to take care of them. The children play their part. If your children are not, because let me say today, today the CXC or 11 or whatever it is, that doesn't say much. Because they have children who have studied with university degrees who cannot get a job. But the point is that you need to get the education because your child and my child have to make themselves competitive in the world. You understand? And there was a time when you left Barbados and you went to England, Canada, America, wherever you were in the world, and you just say, I am from Barbados. You got the job ahead of born in those countries. Because you know why? We have a high standard of education here. But because of bad policies on the government's part, they have stopped financing your children. And some of these people who stop these things are the beneficiaries of free university education at Cape and outside of this and other parts of the region. And they have kicked down the proverbial ladder. And your child and my child now, either you have to go and get a loan, or you have to scrape somewhere to be able to pay for the education of your children. And those of us who are not able to do it, our children have to stay at home. You know that children drop out in the last year of their education at university. You know that children who are on the threshold of getting as the autistic people tell, a cocktail behind the name, you know that they had to drop out of the university. And you know the sad part about it, there's nowhere for them to go. So they sit down home again, and they have been teenagers and young children again because they have to depend on the parents, because they cannot get a job. But thank God, Mayor Amor Motley has said, created a national first job program for youth between 16 and 25 years old to give a government subsidized placement as a business place in their own field. You hear that word? Government subsidized. We will pay for it. And I went back over that again deliberately so that I will reinforce to you that if you go and vote for them again, your child will remain on the block over there by the compressors. If you vote for Dr. Browne and the Barbados Labour Party, your child is sure to go and pick up a job somewhere, somehow, paid for by the government of Barbados. I had to go over that again. Ladies and gentlemen of Moncrief, open your minds, open your hearts, open your thoughts, and think of what a difference is looking on this country. Please recognize that a lot or the whole of Barbados is making a change. The East Coast Road, we had an annual picnic, almost 30,000 people. We had a national meeting there at Weber Pasture, 22,000 people. We had the manifesto. We had this giveaway of the manifesto, launch of the manifesto. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had the launch of the manifesto, 15,000 people. Right, you know, this is an indication to you all that change is on the way. And I want to tell you this now. I said at the start of my presentation that the bus service is terrible, terrible, terrible up here. The bus service is terrible. I urge you to get out of your beds at 4 o'clock that morning. Get your usual shower, your breakfast, and head to the polling station. Because you will not get the bus to get here and vote. And you can break your heart because you can say, I should have done what that man told me to do. I urge you, get up, get dressed. They've got to give you appetite to go at the 10 hour because they got to catch a bus who don't have cars to get there. Go and vote early for Dr. Elite Sonia Browne. I do not. Let the distractor pass, please. Right. I will say to you, ladies and gentlemen, that you need to get up early and go and vote for Dr. Browne and the Barbados Labour Party. I have outlined some things to you which I hope have gone somewhere and helped you. There are 2 items I have to speak of which I will speak. Remember, I said to you at the beginning of my speech about your mirror image. The mirror image of your credit union account, the mirror image of your bank account, the mirror image of your child at university or school. And let me, you know that they got a lot of parents can't even buy pants or uniform or shirt for their children, or dress. You know, you all used to get a little something, people used to look forward when July, August to that little check that used to come home. You remember, ladies and gentlemen, when you get to go buy your school shoes, that thing? And what happened? A lot of the allowances that you claim on your income tax have been disallowed. All of those things, ladies and gentlemen, the Barbados Labour Party will restore. We have a cadre of economists led by Clyde Maskell, Ryan Strong from Christchurch West Central, Marshall Caliphus from Milton South Central, and others. Ladies and gentlemen, please, please, please join the chorus Barbados Labour Party. I want to address the rural and urban development. Oadafa created two institutions, one for the rural corridor and one for the urban corridor of Barbados. What these institutions used to do? The institutions used to go around, they had field officers. There are many from St. Philip. And these field officers used to go in the field and look at houses that needed repairing, people who don't have waterborne toilet systems, people who still have to go outside on the rocks at night, as we would say, to bathe the face and hand. I don't know if that exists out here, I really don't know, right? But I'm saying to you, since 2009-10, those two organizations, the rural and urban, have gone to sleep. They have not been doing, what are they doing? Nothing, almost nothing. People are still without these systems. By now, the majority of Barbados people should have waterborne toilets. Because what they used to do, go and report these things, and people will come to them. I have been reliably informed by people in there that nobody comes in there because nobody will come and see them because they ain't going to get the help that they need. So ladies and gentlemen, these are programs, toilets will become a thing of the past. When we get back into power, with God's help on the 24th, we shall resume the work at the urban. I know they have somebody in this district who would have benefited from the urban and rural development programs. There were some people in here. You need to get back into those systems where we are helping the poor and the privileged in this country. A lot of these people have paid their dues. They work hard in the fields, the cane fields, planting yam and sweet potatoes and cassava for us to eat. The people who read farm ground, as they call it, people who go and do made work, they have paid their dues, and we should give back to them. Some of them have not been able to improve themselves because they look after the education of their children. And ladies and gentlemen, tonight I want to submit to you to go and vote for the return of the urban and rural development, taking care of its citizens. Now I know there are many civil servants in here in this district because we spoke to some of them. When the Barbados Party left office in 2008, there were over 2,000 civil servants that were to be appointed. They held back on the appointment of the civil servants, and they do it 2 weeks before an election. Ladies and gentlemen, are you all foolish to believe that they only care about these civil servants? They care about themselves and their return to power. So I'm asking you, civil servants, that you should have had those appointments 8-9 years ago. Rick, Pastor Ellis, you should have had them 8-9 years ago. And they like to know the 11th hour, know that the lamp ain't got oil. The big dry. And they're waiting to tell you, oh, we appointed you. Appointed what? That is what is due to you. You should have had that years ago. And you should have had job security years ago, because they say once you're out in the post 3 years or more, you should be appointed. And ladies and gentlemen, got people that were in those posts 20-somebody years. Should that happen? And I'm asking you again, civil servants, you remember who your friends are. Your friends are the Barbados Labour Party. You all got appointments. You all got proper conditions of service under the Barbados Labour Party. You all have money in your pockets. You all got raises under the Barbados Labour Party. And I want to close tonight by drawing an analogy. If you are in a building that collapsed, listen carefully to me. Please pay careful attention to what I'm saying. If you are in a building that has collapsed, and there's a piece of wood beam or a piece of steel beam on your chest, and Pastor Houston and other people here gathered, come and lift it off your chest so that you can breathe and live easier. Would you tell them put back the steel on your chest? Answer me yes or no. Would you tell them put back the steel on your chest? I can't hear you. I can't hear you here. Good. Well, right. But I'm telling to you that the Barbados Labour Party has agitated for elections. It has come. The steel has been lifted from your chest. You can breathe easier. But I'm submitting to you that you can breathe easier on the 24th when the elections are called by going out and voting for the Barbados Labour Party. And in closing, I want to wish all the mothers up here in Moncrief, every single one of you, a happy, blessed, and most enjoyable Mother's Day on Sunday coming. Good night, God bless. Get out there and vote Sonia Browne on May the 24th. Thank you.
All the way. Indeed, the BLP, one family. Thank you, Hayden, for that wonderful address. You certainly give us food for thought. We are rolling on down the road. We have another speaker coming on to address you on matters that are dear to his heart. We are going to invite Dr. George Braffett to speak to you at this time so that he can get on to his other assignment after this. Dr. George Braffett, let's give him a hand as he comes to speak to you tonight.
Good night, Moncrief, surrounding areas, friends and visitors, and most importantly, good evening to Dems who are listening and listening for the type of relief that the Barbados Labour Party will bring. I come here tonight to endorse Dr. Sonia Browne, not as a candidate, but as a person that has the characteristics and the character to become your next parliamentary representative, and a dedicated and a very good one. So I say that up front. Well, you know, last night the Barbados Labour Party launched its manifesto, and on the front it says building the best Barbados together. Since then, we've heard some persons say, but how are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? I can say it up front. We are supposed to be strict guardians of our heritage and firm craftsmen and women of our faith. And if we do believe in that, and we do believe in the similar things that our pioneering fathers and mothers did, that God has been on our side for hundreds of years, then I assure you, Team Barbados Labour Party, with Dr. Sonia Browne right in the mix, will transform Barbados for the better and for the prosperity of all. So my message is similar to my leader's message. It is one about building and creating and reshaping and having a caring society. So it is true that May cares. It is true that the Barbados Labour Party cares. And within St. Philip North, you know that Dr. Sonia Browne cares. My friends, most of you, I would assume, are Filipinos. And as Filipinos, there is a sense of solidarity that has always existed. So I'm not here to blast Michael. I'm not here to blast David. Indeed, I hope that he gives all the mothers in Barbados and all the women in Barbados a gift on Sunday, Mother's Day, and recognize that you cannot disparage women in Barbados and get away with it. We don't have to curse him. We don't have to curse him, but we can demand the apology that he owes to all the women in this country. Because it is for love of country that we toil every day. It is for love of country that we work hard and have enjoyed the burdens placed upon us by the wicked and inept Democratic Labour Party. The Democratic Labour Party chose a path of keeping things for themselves. They did not recognize that part of social justice. If you're going to be talking that you're a mass-based party, part of it is social justice and distributive justice. It cannot mean a handful of people feasting off the fatted calf while the rest of Barbados suck salt. It cannot mean that in one or two areas you would see good roads, and in other areas the roads are so disastrous that you as individuals are already struggling with tax after tax for 10 years, that more than that you have to spend a larger proportion of your salaries and wages trying to fix and repair your vehicles. You have to be a caring government. You cannot be a wicked government. You have to be a government that is imaginative, creative, and ready to execute policies, good policies, on behalf of the people that you serve. You cannot be inept, callous, and vindictive. And those types of words that I just used there perfectly describe the Democratic Labour Party during the last 8 to 10 and a half years. So I am suggesting there has to be a swap. And it is easy. You're swapping what you had yesterday that did not work for you. You are swapping that with somebody that you can decide to put there on the 24th of May. You have to get Sonia Browne into Parliament. We will leave Michael Ashley in St. Philip, and there's a reason for that. He can come and tell us about the infelicities that came out of the Public Accounts Committee report and be honest with us, perhaps decide to reimburse the Crown, or he can spend many a restless night at Dodds. My friends, comrades, the time for giving a man a break has long passed. I could understand he was elected in 2003. You gave him a break and you re-elected him in 2008. In 2013, the good electorate said, you know, they only had one term, we give them another shot at it. Well, if you continue to prefer ill treatment, to prefer a life of misery and frustration based upon the policies enacted and legislated by the Democratic Labour Party, then I will say that you have forgotten your children. You have forgotten your children's children. And it is there we need to look. And if we look there, we would know that we would need good hands working together to rebuild this nation, because it has been tarnished in terms of reputation, it has been tarnished in terms of infrastructural development, and it has been tarnished in terms of the contributions that you, the good people of Barbados, work every day to make sure that there's that input. So having done that, again, the choice can only be Sonia Browne in St. Philip North. It can only be Indaria in St. Philip South. And it can only be John King in St. Philip West. The Barbados Labour Party is bringing home St. Philip, because the wise people come from the east, and we are going to go to the city of Bridgetown, where the Parliament of Barbados is. And we are going to see work being done on behalf of the people. A caring government in Bay Street with persons like Sonia Browne serving the needs of the society and not the needs of the political party. My friends, we are a Christian society in one sense, and in another sense, we are not necessarily a Christian state. But nonetheless, it is for a love of country, and we know that charity must be extended across the board. We have to do something to ignite the imagination of our young people, who are the embodiment of the future of Barbados. We can no longer allow them to languish in the belly of poverty, languish in schools too forgotten and becoming forlorn, because you have a Minister of Education and Human Resources that a few years ago had already written them off as being demonic. We cannot tolerate in 2018, after the 24th of May, we cannot tolerate a government that is indecisive, procrastinates when it has to make serious decisions about you and your life. When you have to make the choice between paying one bill or another bill. We do not have the luxury of sitting down idle and giving a lot of cheap talk instead of working to ensure that the Barbados dollar does not get devalued. We have been sitting on the edge of this calamity because we have ministers that are infighting with each other, coming out in public with a big smile on their face, and at the same point in time, they have been neglecting the expectations of the people of Barbados. It can no longer be tolerated going forward. We are rebuilding Barbados to ensure that Barbados is not only the gem of the Caribbean Sea, but once again it becomes the #1 developing country in the world, as it was at the end of December 2007. That is why, at the launch of this manifesto last night, we have decided that one part of the focus must be on the youth, allowing free education again, so that people, especially persons coming from poor means, where they don't have the existing means to either continue or go to the university, those fears can now be pushed aside. You can go there and commit. If you're going into a 3-year or 4-year program, you go and do your degree in 3 or 4 years. If you need to continue on the masters, you go and continue on the masters. But you make a contribution to the very society and the very people you live around. It cannot be that a lot of it will be pushed away and your hopes and dreams fade away. That is not the politics of the Barbados Labour Party. The politics of a Barbados Labour Party is a politics of justice, social justice, economic justice. And we assure them on the 24th of May that there will also be political justice, because you, the people, will powerfully elect the government that you need. And we know it is not the Dems. The Dems shall go into the dustbin of history, where we Barbadians elevate from right here in St. Philip North a woman to our parliament, the first woman to represent St. Philip North, Sonia Browne. And alongside her will be the first Prime Minister, female Prime Minister of Barbados. Mia Amor Morley, a woman that cares, a woman that don't mind rubbing shoulders and don't mind remaining connected and don't mind remaining humble and don't mind coming down with the people and laughing and talking and living. That is, Mia Morley is not the elitist that Van der Steur wants to create. No. This is a woman that embraces each and every one, regardless of class or position, regardless of male or female. This is a woman just like all the men in Barbados and all the other women. She is not perfect, but she strives for perfection just like you and me every single day. She strives to do what she can do for the service and the dedication of people. She looks to enrich the lives of homes and families. Ladies and gentlemen, 2018 is not the time to chance your future. This is no lottery. This is a straight vindication that you have had a bad, evil, inept government, very divisive, and put out a lot of ill will in the society, so that the very noble mantra they had, they suggested that Barbados is more than an economy, it is a society. They have even damaged that mantra, because we are seeing the economic woes and the decaying of a society because they paid little or no attention to it. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot be long because I have some more speaking assignments, but I hope to come back to St. Philip North sometime in the next week, week and a half, because there are more messages to be delivered. There are more things that we have to talk about. But at this point in time, my final message to you is to say, let Dr. Browne know what your expectations are. She holds you in high regard. I want you to hold her in high regard. She will walk with you. I want you to walk with her. She will support you. I want you to give her maximum support. And in giving her maximum support, I want you to wake up your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your aunt, your friend, everybody in St. Philip North, and tell them, only look for one name on that ballot paper. Look for Sonia Browne. Mark your X. Don't spoil your vote, but make sure you put this woman in the House of Assembly of Barbados, because she deserves it on merit and on the kindness of her heart. Mia cares, Sonia Browne cares, Team Barbados Labour Party cares. I thank you, Moncrief.
Come get aboard. We're taking the more heavy load. No. Let me come together and make things better. No, we're ready for the road. We don't want no drama. No, get on board with me. It's one big family and we're rolling with BLP.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Braffett, for that presentation. I hope you get to your next assignment rather safely. Dr. Braffett said that Michael Lashley should be offering an apology to all the women of St. Philip North. I believe they should all be apologizing to all the women in Barbados. But I think he wants to make some amends, because I have it on good authority that he has arranged to take all the mothers from a particular church out for lunch on Sunday. So if y'all here didn't get in on that, I feel sorry that you didn't get in on that as well, because all the women of Barbados are deserving to be treated in that way after the cussing that they relinquished on the women. They thought they were doing it against Motley alone, but they affected every woman who is a self-respecting person in this country. Ever since this campaign started, I stated that the Dems will be targeting our leader, Mayor Abu Motley. The happenings in the last week or so proved me right. And they are going to be targeting her because they believe and they realize that she is more popular than all of them put together. And so they feel that if they should cut down the head, the whole body will crumble, but not this time. Mayor is a strong individual, a strong leader with a broad back, as she would say. And we, the people of Barbados, are behind her 100%. And I would say to all the women tonight within hearing of my voice, you owe it to yourself to support the women in this country. This Barbados Labour Party give you the first woman to be elected to the House of Assembly in the person of Army Bourne. We give you the first woman, well, not directly from us, but we give you the first person who was able to come through the ranks and make a very good representation for the women in the Senate and in the society as a whole. We can give you the first woman prime minister that this country will have. And in St. Philip North, we intend to give you the first female representative that we will have in St. Philip North. And we have many people who are coming out in support of this venture as well. And I want to say to you, never mind how the Dems will try to convince you otherwise. The one that we is presenting to you is an honest and an upright woman. A woman that is full of decency and order, whom you will hear speaking to you very shortly. The Dems will try to convince you that they had to deal with the hardest times with the economy in this country. They have taken simple things and made them very, very difficult. Because a simple secondary school person with economic ability would have been able to handle the situation far better than they have. We hear about a man called Chris Sinclair, who year after year has been coming with these policies, and he's done, I think, about 8 or 9 different ones, and ended up with the same or even worse failure than he anticipated himself. The Barbados Labour Party is standing ready to take over the reins of Parliament and to run this country fully. I'm not even going to look at the manifesto because I've not had time even to look at it, so I'm not going to mention anything there. What I'm going to do is to invite a young lady to speak to you from her heart. Now, she is not a politician, but she is one who cares about what is happening in our country. And she wants to say a few words from her heart tonight. And so we're going to invite Miss Drayton, I think Linda, to come and speak to you from her heart. Yes, Linda, let's give her a round of applause. I think she has taken leave. I think she maybe went up the road to get something to go by. But we will continue until... Oh, here she is. Here she is. Give her a welcome there, friends. Okay.
Hi, good evening to everyone. I am happy to be here with you and to have a number of young persons in the crowd. I am here to tell you this evening about what's going on in this community. I have recently interacted with people that are currently facing issues such as poverty caused by low wages, no wage increase, and no proper social network. The youths are becoming discouraged or disillusioned about violence and crime. This is my personal story. I am a single parent and I'm struggling to pay my mortgage and sending my kids to school. I've reached out to many agencies and to my parliamentary representative, and I received no help but bear him horror stories. But let me tell you this, as a people tonight, if you want to see a brighter future ahead for your children, vote the Barbados Labour Party. Vote for Miss Sonia Browne. Vote for Mayor, because Mayor cares. And it's time that we lift our heads above the waters and rise in this country. Thank you.
We're taking the more. Now is the time.
Okay.
Everybody ready?
Everybody ready?
Go tell your friends.
Go tell your friends.
Tell your whole family.
Your whole family.
Short and sweet. That's how we like it. She spoke from the heart of something or some things that concern her, that is a burden on her heart. And I'm sure that many other people share those concerns as well. We have a situation in this country where this government has refused to take responsibility for anything. All they have been doing is blaming everything on other people. And then at the last minute, they're going to come and tell you that they're doing this and they're going to be doing that. And you have to ask them what have they been doing in the last 10 years since they have the reins of government. They will come and tell you that they're going to appoint hundreds of civil servants. I want to say something to you. Appointment is good, but an appointment in the government service will not immediately mean a change in your pay packet. That will be basically the same. Appointment in the government service will not change the prices in the supermarket that you have to buy. It will not help you in terms of having your bills paid on a monthly basis. So it is a good thing to have the appointment. It would mean more security in terms of national insurance and so on, but it is not going to help your financial situation. They have made things very, very difficult for you. And we have a government who believe that they should come at the last minute and buy your vote, because that's what they are attempting to do. They're attempting to buy your votes. They're fixing roads that they could not have done in the last 8 to 10 years. They're fixing them all of a sudden. They tell you that they had no money to do them. But now, election time is there. They're finding money to do all of these things. And when the Barbados Labour Party speak about doing things and giving benefits to the people, they're all asking the question, where they're going to get the money from. And we have to ask them tonight, where are they getting the money from to do the things that they are doing right now? They will come and they will offer you all kind of trinkets. But I want to say to you tonight, if a man came to you or a woman came to you and offered you $1,000 or $1,500 for your vote, they do not owe you anything else. They would have bought your allegiance. There are some who would have received money in the last election And if you ask them, where is the money today, they cannot tell you. Because you got that money and it would have been gone within a week. But you suffered for the last 5 years. And they are enjoying, the ones who give or send the money to you, they are enjoying the riches, sharing the fatted calf, and getting fat on every side as well. How is it reasonable that these people who are your servants are able to buy the big vehicles? Nothing wrong with having them, but if you have 3 and 4 and 5 vehicles, you're only one man, you only have 2 feet and 2 hands. You can only drive one at a time. But while you're driving and changing the vehicles, the people in the country right under your nose, they are suffering, cannot even pay their bills or even feed their children. There are people tonight who are struggling while they are driving all the vehicles and compensating with them. There are people who are struggling to keep their children in secondary school and even in university because they have reached the top using the university, and now they have attempted to kick the ladder right down. So remember this: if you give someone your vote for money, it is only going to last for the day of elections, because after that you will have to endure suffering like everyone else. But your representative will come to you and tell you that he can do many things for you. I have news for you. If he is in power in the government now and has been in Parliament for 15 years, and he hasn't done much for you up until this time, what will he be able to do for you in the next 5 years when he sits on the benches of the opposition, if he was lucky enough to make it back? But if he doesn't go up the steps of Parliament, as we believe that he will not, what will he be able to do for you? I want you to consider this. The future is in your hands. It is not in the hands of not even the Democratic Labour Party or the Barbados Labour Party. The future of Barbados is in your hands. Think seriously about what you're being asked to do come May the 24th. I want to say to you this evening that we have a person that we are offering to you as the next representative. One who is sincere, one who is honest, one who is upright, one who is loving, one who is caring, and not to speak about the fact that she's also beautiful. You can match Michael Ashley against Sonia Browne in terms of beauty, a physique, in terms of speech even. There is absolutely no match. So tonight, dear friends, I have the greatest pleasure in introducing to you the next representative for St. Philip North in the House of Assembly, representing the Barbados Labour Party, Dr. Sonia Browne. Dr. Browne, let's welcome her this evening with a big round of applause.
All of them balling, crying tears. We getting their politics. Can't get up what no fix. Can't get up what's no night or day. 10 years just and strain, have the whole country in pain. 10 years have patients going insane. All of them must go. Can't get the lashes no go. So you see, we voting PLP. Who you voting for? Sonia Browne. Who you voting for? Sonia Browne. Voting who? Sonia Browne. Who you voting for? Sonia. Taxes to make you sick. Yes.
Good night, Moncrief. Thanks for the warm welcome. This is one of the first places I canvassed after my nomination, and it was a pleasure to be here then, and it certainly is a pleasure to be here again tonight. In preparing for this meeting, I had no idea what I was about to talk about. But lying in bed in the quiet of the morning, probably around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, a little whisper came to me, like it usually does when it's before a meeting. And the passage that came to me was from Mark. I don't know if you know it by heart. Mark chapter 7. And the part that was made known to me said, "Ye shall know them by thy fruits, by their fruits. Ye shall know them by their fruits. This is the same little voice that whispered to me after the 2008 elections. The same voice that said Barbados was in trouble. Ye shall know them by their fruits. And you know, I was thinking about what our representatives, our current representatives for the next 2 weeks, what their fruits were, what their fruits really were, what was their contribution to our island. And the truth is, it was hard. It was hard to come up with something, especially for especially for Mr. Lashley, especially for Moncrief, and by extension the rest is in Philip. I was thinking, what has he done? The first thing he had when he got into power was the Ministry of Housing, National Housing Corporation. He started by offering jobs, well, that was in the second term, but offering jobs to people that were jobless 2 minutes before the election to get the votes. Those were some of his fruits. He managed, to be honest, to build several districts, houses, tiny little houses, matchboxes for people to live in, supposedly affordable housing. But then it was discovered that these houses were really designed for the wood ants and the sheep to graze the yard. They were basically falling to pieces because nobody could afford them. The people that they were originally designed for could not afford them. By some miracle now, I'm hearing that all of them, at least in parish land, are allocated. All of a sudden, the ones in River, in Coles, that area, trucks are coming and scaffolding is being put up and they're being fixed. All of a sudden, a minute before elections. Those were some of his fruits. But then I went on to research, and I remembered, it jogged my memory a little bit, that sometime back, the chairman of the NHC was fired by the same Michael Lashley because she had a little grouse with him. She saw something wrong with his offering all the contracts to build these houses to big contractors rather than what they were meant to be built for, small contractors around the island, people who were already losing their businesses. I can read a little excerpt of the letter. I made sure I printed out a copy. And she said at one point, the fully established rule is that in respect of all NHC-funded projects, the board recommends and the minister is free to accept or reject any such recommendation. Regrettably, in some instances, the board was never afforded the opportunity to give due or any consideration to or make an appropriate recommendation in respect of some NHC projects. The board was bypassed by the minister. These are some of his fruits. She never got an explanation on why she was fired. She just knows she was fired because she could not, in all good conscience, let Michael Lashley make decisions when the people of Barbados were supposed to benefit from it. And we see that happening all around in almost all the ministries where the people that they were supposed to help are being bypassed for the people who already have money. Everybody knows the name, at least for one, that takes away all the contracts. By thy fruits ye shall know him, by his fruits. These are the kind of things that make you wonder what kind of representation we took the chance. We took the chance and gave Michael Lashley the vote and ended up paying for it severely as a country. He went over to the Transport Board, Transport and Works, and what did he do there? We now have a bus system. When he came through here canvassing, the worry was about no buses, and not only no buses, walking up a hill, and in some areas of Moncrief that were dark, not lit properly. That was the worry for some of the residents, many of the residents. And since I came through here, it has only gotten worse. We are operating on a transport board now, which services our school children, which services our working class people, with less than 60 buses. 60 buses with this network of roads and districts and villages and schools and workplaces that we have. These are his fruits. We have a network of roads which are slightly better than a cart road. This is Michael Lashley's doing as well, or neglect I should say. I took it upon myself to check his Facebook page, which I noticed was not very active since 2015. All of a sudden it's lit up and bright. And the 2 accomplishments that he could find to put down in the last 10 years are: 1, he's now sprucing up the river terminal. He's laid claim to that one. And 2, he completed roads, the road in Peak Bay. Now these roads are barely roads. They basically take off the surfaces of the road and cover them with tar, which is not a road in my estimation. A lot of areas in Martyville, for instance, are now developing potholes, so we're back at square one after wasting so much money. But all of a sudden, this Facebook page is alive and well after it was silent, like Fando's short tour. This is silence in their party. After it was there for so long. The only thing I saw from 2015 was a carnival ban. This is what our minister stands for. Nothing wrong with partying, but it cannot be all. A carnival ban, or the St. Philip Carnival, which is now done, thanks to the violence that nobody seems to be addressing in this government. But what is his claim to fame? By his fruit we shall know him. What I can say is that every light, we are grateful for it because it's pretty and the children get to run around. We have a King George Park full of lights every Christmas. He does do that. But when daytime comes and Christmas is gone and you walk around King George Park, you realize the building is falling in. This is where people used to have dances, and it had the potential for weddings and all this kind of thing. Picnics, people used to frequent it. Now the whole place is in disrepair, and this is a park that could basically make money for the community if we rent it out for weddings and so on. But the best he can do is put string lights in the trees that he never takes down. If you go there now, you'll see lights still hanging. The best he can do is hang lights every Christmas and call it his. I hope he's paying the men that actually hang it. I hear otherwise, but I'm not getting into that. And and we have a lot of rotten fruit in this campaign. I had the unfortunate chance to see the launch of the DLP campaign, and this is one of the reasons I came here barefaced, not even bothering to put on lipstick, eyeshadow, nothing, because apparently we put on, like me, we put on our lipstick badly and eyeshadow untidy. I made sure I put my hair back in one nicely because nobody could say I am unkept. I came here bare for that reason, but for another reason too. I'm giving you myself. I'm giving you what I am as I am. What you see is what you get. I have nothing to hide. You are free to approach me at any time. I bet you cannot say that of Michael Ashley. This is the other complaint, probably the second most frequent complaint in this constituency. They cannot get in contact with their representative. For years now. I had a fellow that was given the incorrect number to contact, and he was told by him that he was given a number that he was instructed only to text, and he took it upon himself to call the number to find his representative, only to be told that the number was not in service. This is the kind of hide and go seek representation St. Philip North has been putting up with for the last 10 years. By his fruit ye shall know him. As I was saying, I laid witness to that meeting they had, and it was the most regrettable, despicable, unforgiving display of disrespect I've ever noted. I wonder sometimes if they are aware that it is the internet, YouTube, Facebook, and with a click of a finger, somebody in China can see it. Children all across Barbados could see it. My child was watching till I turned it off after Dr. Eswick came on. I could not let her see that. And the truth is, our representative was no better. The best thing about him, as I said the other night, was his campaign song. It was real groovy, I give him that. But when he opened his mouth, it was a different story. The only thing, and I heard he came in Moncrief the other day, the only thing he can say to me, after he was canvassing for a year and a half, after he represented this constituency for 10 years, the only thing he could come up with is Dr. Booby. Little did he know that the other name for Dr. Booby is a hummingbird. How many of y'all ever see an ugly hummingbird? How many of y'all ever see an ugly hummingbird? Poor Michael, check his facts. Check his facts. Poor soul. But after 10 years, if that is all he can scrape up, it is over. I am just here as a formality, and I think he knows it. He's coming in Moncrief and other areas, and you know, I think it's my duty, I guess it's my duty to clear it up now. I am hearing that Michael is walking around the constituency with this letter that he claims that I asked the constituents for $50,000. What I need to say to you, there was a letter, I'm here bare with nothing to hide, there was a letter that was written to the members of my branch. So if I am not mistaken, Michael Lashley appears to be a member of the BLP branch. Not only that, I don't know how his reading skills are, because it was never said that we were asking the constituents. I have the right to let my branch know where we were as a party, as a constituency, where we were and what we needed. How dare he come up here and talk about, I asked an old lady for $50,000. What old lady? What old lady? Never mind that he in housing was responsible for the Grotto and the Valerie, and up to now, even though the Public Accounts Committee, that's the committee that oversees the spending of the government to make sure the spending is honest and effective. Never mind, they had a lot of questions, and not $50,000, but millions of dollars he cannot account for. And he has the nerve to come and talk about $50,000? Ask him, why all the ministers all of a sudden driving about the biggest rides, building the biggest houses, as many as they can, as quickly as they can. 2 more weeks to finish. I'm seeing work expanding exponentially to finish these buildings. Ask him that. Ask him about the little old ladies that can't get a decent pension. Ask him that. And the flaunting in the face these houses and buildings. Disrespect, people, disrespect. These are the fruits of the Democratic Labour Party. These are the fruits. And you know, the other thing, they brought up this abuse thing of women. I am not an advocate for it. Everybody that I know of detest it, and we cry it down. Abuse should not happen to women or men for that matter. I heard Michael Lashley got up in that thing and said, well, let me begin by saying, I am a practitioner of medicine, which means I practice medicine. Mayor Motley is a practitioner of law, which means she practices law. Michael Lashley got up and said he's a what? Domestic abuse practitioner, which means he does what? Come on, people. This is who we voted in the last time. A practitioner of domestic abuse. The best thing about the man was the campaign song. I dance a little bit, let me be honest, it's a groovy, nostalgic dub thing. But that's the best thing. He could do well to sit down and shut his mouth if he does not know what he talketh. This is the kind of foolishness we put in that way. This is the kind of people that we put in. That too. But you know, the other thing is when you look on, all of a sudden, things speeding up. A couple of weeks ago, we heard that a few lawyers were designated as Queen's Counsel. Of course, Michael Lashley was there. Of course, Stephen Lashley was there. That is what they take. What have they given you? Queen's Counsel means that he has reached one of the highest levels in law. I don't know where, because he was in politics for 15 years, and I think he only came out for less than 20, but I stand corrected on that. So I don't know where exactly he reached the pinnacle of law, but that is what they do for themselves. He can now, they're making sure they're nice and cushy when they fall. In another 2 weeks, he can now charge more if he wishes. Yes, he can now charge more. He has the ability to charge more because of this QC designation. This is what they are doing to us, ladies and gentlemen, making sure that their pockets are fat, making sure that when they fall hard, in another 2 weeks, come the 24th, the night of the 24th, their landing is nice and soft. And you can see it with all the ministers. You can see it. But what have they given to you? Basically nothing. But at the same time, Fernando Stewart will say and talk about, as I said before, the little things that we worry about. But how is it that they could cry Mayor Motley for saying that she would increase pensions? How on earth, and you have a minister, one of our ministers that used to be a doctor, still is a doctor, how on earth she could begrudge an old lady or an old gentleman who does not have the money to buy medication. Incidentally, the medications have now gone up if you want to stay on your same medication. So $5 medication is now $40, maybe to $60 per month. And most people are more than one. How could they look at an increase in pensions of about $70 when they had an increase of 10% on their salary that they pretended to give back, but then took it back anyway? How can you begrudge people that opportunity to feed themselves? I'm not saying that. You say it. You're free to say it. But this is the kind of thing we deal with. And as I said, by their fruits ye shall know them. These are the fruits that they lay, people. These are the fruits that they lay. We have a government that basically put on NSRL on us. That tax that nobody can quite explain. Increase VAT. Do you have any idea what a mother or a father with a baby in diapers has to pay every day if you work out the figures? A lot. And these people getting salaries of $16,000 plus per month. And the small person, I'm sure there's some in this district, cannot afford diapers for the baby. Something is wrong with this picture. Something is really, really wrong. What is the overseas community saying about Barbadians? We are a proud people, and look what we have come to. I'm almost embarrassed when I meet people and they ask me that. And you don't have to travel abroad, because people come here still, the few tourists that left back. But they want to know what's happening. I passed through the crane today, and a gentleman that took me to where he wanted to go said to me, a lot of cancellations are happening. And that affects, yes, you will say the hoteliers have money, but the hotels employ people like me and you. So if they don't come, what happens? People get sent home, and that has been happening for the last few years. People getting a week who would work 5 days a week are now home on 2-3 days a week to feed children and send them school. And not send them school on transport, but buses. PSV operators now charge $2 a trip. How with 4 children and no salary and hopefully 1 bus, and some of them take 2 buses, how are we to afford this? Never mind the increase in salary of these government ministers. I'm happy to say the Barbados Labour Party donated their increase. They had a conscience, which we can't say too much of the DLP. They donated the increase to a charity. They choose a charity every month, and that is where the money goes, and kudos to them. That's integrity. These are people that I met a lady, middle class, used to be middle class, and one of her issues is mortgage payments. We used to be able to claim that. It's not coming back yet, but I'm sure that's something that we will look at. She can't claim mortgage interest in taxes. When she does house repairs, she lives near the sea, and you know what the sea salt does. House repairs, you can't claim that back. So people their houses rotten. Never mind, people are losing their homes because they cannot afford to pay the mortgage. And DLP, who has the power to negotiate, has done nothing. At least in this manifesto, I had it recently, I forgot it in the back. At least in this manifesto, the Barbados Labour Party is going to step in there to help people who had difficulties or who have difficulties in paying their mortgage. They're going to help them to do that. Have you heard any such thing from the DLP? Have you heard anything from the DLP? We heard a lot of cussing, but no plans. And that is unacceptable in this day and age. People need solutions. People even need for somebody to say, I am sorry. Sometimes I am sorry could save a whole country. If you just admit your faults, say that you were wrong, and ask for help. Yeah, we gave these out at the launching last night, the mini manifestos, very user-friendly. I'm going to distribute them when we do get our hands on them, which should be soon. But in the last few years, we have seen so much. We have seen gas prices increase. We have seen water rates increase. We have seen sewage on the South Coast. Sewage on the South Coast. That apparently our government is pleased to talk about that is not a big problem. Almost 2 years people have been putting up with that. I go there once a week for 5 minutes. People live there every day, 7 days a week. 7 days a week. Up here, well, I don't smell anything out here, but lower down, the sea moss is killing us down there. And nobody's bothering to clean it up. The smell of the sea moss, you could smell it all up to Messiah Street on that end. We have a government, I don't know up here, but I know parts of St. John, St. Joseph were without water for weeks on end. For weeks. Who did you see to explain the problem? When you run out of containers to fill up, who did you see? Nobody. This is the government of the people, they say. This is what we put up with. These are all the fruits, and this is how we are coming to know them. It really shouldn't be hard to decide who you're voting for come the 24th. It really shouldn't be hard. But I'm giving you the pros and cons that you will make an educated decision, because everybody has the right to decide. But I urge you to listen to the little voice in the back of your head that's saying, think before you do that. Think, how does this make it better? How does Michael Lashley fit in here? After he had 15 years, I'm going to only blame him for 10 because he was in opposition. After he had 10 years of doing absolutely nothing, what is the point? What is the logic of voting him back in 2 weeks from now? If you can explain that to me, I concede. I concede. If you can't, I challenge anybody in here to explain it. I concede if you can. This is a government that put up with people, young and old, with pit toilets in their backyards. So at night, God help you if you got a prostate that giving trouble and you need to get to the bathroom. You walk across the yard, I didn't go in because they don't like frogs. You walk across the yard and meander to outside toilet. At least Barbados Labour Party has in place to give people work to replace those toilets with flushable toilets. At least we are saying something that we are doing. At least. And we have other plans. I'm going to let you know what our fruits are. I spoke about what our fruits were when it was in Padmore the other night. And the Barbados Labour Party has done so much for Barbados. And it's a little obvious that when the bees are in, everybody's a little more comfortable. Everybody can breathe a little easier. When the D's are in, we're in just trouble. We are what our word is creek. That's the truth. We are in trouble, and history shows it. But apart from that, some of the fruits we are offering, the NSRL, that ridiculous tax I spoke about, that is coming off forthwith. The VAT is going back down to 15%. You'll be able now, as some of the speakers before me, you'll be able to know to send your children to university. And that is not a privilege in my mind, that is a right. That is a right to educate our people. There are people, Barbadians all over the world, thanks to UE education. And I'm proud of that. All over the world, but what's happening now? We're going back 50 steps. So I don't know where we gone to the 19-something where nobody was educated, only the better off and different colored people could go to university. We need to get back there, and this is one of the initiatives the Barbados Labour Party under Mayor Motley is going to make sure. The other thing that I found a little disappointing, many things for the Democratic Labour Party, is this thing about not just putting down the foot and saying we're not negotiating with the unions for a raise of salary. How can you ask somebody to live almost 10 years on the same salary when everything has gone up? Everything has gone up. I don't know where they expect you to get the money. Even Natalie coming out now to speak upon it. Where do you expect to get the money? I'm certainly not doing that. But how can you not have a raise of salary and everything has gone up? From biscuits to clothes have gone up. Everything has gone up. You can no longer go in the supermarket and come home knowing that you could feed yourself for the next month. This is what Barbados has come to. The cost of living is high. One of the things in the manifesto that we speak about is, yes, we're going to negotiate with the unions on increase the salary, but we have promised that if they do not come to some sort of agreement in 3 months, people are going to get a cost of living allowance, which will allow you, apart from the no NSRL decrease in VAT, which will allow you a little bit more money that you can pay your bills. And I think that's a fantastic initiative. Fantastic initiative. There's so many things. People think that St. Philip is a little backward community, but the brightest and the best have come out. Things like free Wi-Fi. We are going to be offering free Wi-Fi. Everybody has a phone next door. Everybody has a phone and on the internet. that will now be free rent once Barbados Labour Party gets in. There are so many things. It's so exciting to think what we will be coming out of in another 2 weeks. There's a 6-week plan, immediate plan, where we need to fix the country, stop the waste of money, because we need to attract investors again. These are the kind of things we are looking at. We need real people. You know, you see Democratic Labour Party losing some of their candidates in the droves, because some have a bit of a conscience, the others do not. I don't know how Steve Blackett could get up and talk about things like downgrades don't affect the average Barbadian. I am the average Barbadian, and it has affected me. Some of the conversations that they have with the people are amazing. I don't know how that area wasn't empty by the time Eswick was finished with his conversation. Yeah, that too. I don't know how it wasn't empty, but I mean, we have been living in Barbados that nobody quite understands how we got here. We know where we came from, which is a good thing, but nobody understands how we got here. We can't get to work, you can't eat, you cannot sleep because of all of these things. We have children going to school hungry. Barbados Labour Party started that whole biscuit and milk initiative years ago, and it was expanded to lunches. It feels like we are going backwards. Children should not be leaving home without a proper breakfast. How do you learn without feeding your brain? And it seems that the Democratic Labour Party is comfortable knowing this. They live in some sort of bubble where they really don't understand what's going on. They do not care. Well, Lashley said it the other night too. He said the shirt didn't mark Mia Caress, it says Mia Cares. That's an endorsement if you ask me. Lashley said it, Mia Cares. So I mean, when they come out here with their foolishness, don't believe everything you hear. If you have a problem with it, pick up the phone. Most people, everybody can reach me. I usually call you back anyway. Pick up the phone and ask me. I am going to be with you in this. I am going to be with you. I am not going to be like Michael Ashley, that 10 years ago he said, hold on, I'm coming back there now. I know you're seeing him after 10 years. Hold on, I'm coming back there now is what he said 10 years ago. And he just got back into Moncrief. He just got back. Well, last y'all see Michael in here? Do not be fooled by these diversions. Do not be fooled that by all of a sudden there are traffic laws that were already lost, some of them coming in so that they could put a claim to fame. Helmets! Helmets is the best he could do in 10 years. Helmets, bicycle helmets. And not being on the cell phone in the car. Is that the best you can do in 10 years? My little daughter could do better. That is the best. They ain't gonna bring back her life on them drink just as hard as everybody else. But it has to be more. The only fruits Michael laid are these laws about a bicycle helmet that offset a lot of people. Because a lot of these old guys, I have an uncle I've never seen a helmet yet. He drives the slowest you will ever see. 10 minutes to get from here to there. He has to go purchase a helmet, which is fine because it's for his own safety. But give the people a chance. Don't wake up one morning and say, all right, you need helmets, go and get them tomorrow. It cannot work. These one-sided initiatives that they come up with just to make history. Just to make history. Fernando Stewart is making history. I don't know how he takes so long, but every day he's making history. Making history because he was the man the quietest ever, does not say a word, does not appear to care about anybody. I don't know how you can manage a government like this. It's hard to decide who is the head of that party, who is the head of that government. I have my doubts that it's Fernando Stewart. 11 rulers can't work. You can't get so much bills in one pen. This is how the whole thing got in disarray. That's how it happened. And Michael Ashley, the petty person that he is, he's seeing to it that posters are coming down. Oh, you don't know the logic behind that. A poster is just a picture. Tear it down. We got enough. We got enough. Thousands. As he tears it down, I put it back up. Easy. Easy. He just wasting time, but if he pay for it, try to get him money here. Try to get him money. $100 to put them posters, then bad. That ain't bad at all. But we got enough. I warn you, we got enough. So he could take down as much as he wants if it makes him feel that he's going to win elections. If he removes my face out there. St. Philip North knows what I look like already. Thank you, darling. St. Philip North knows what I look like already. So he can do all these kind of tactics. And tactics will come, but I'm going to tell you now, taking money, whether it be money in the form of cash or money in the form of drugs. No, sorry, that's my bad. I didn't mean to say that. I really didn't. That's the point. Or money in the form of jobs or anything like that is still bribing. It is illegal. It is illegal, and we had a prime minister that endorsed it. You have a prime minister, a whole country, a lawyer nonetheless, that got in public and said to you, when money is offered, take it. The damn thing illegal. You cannot do that. 1. 2, who are you that you can be bought? You worth more than that. Are you worth more than that? Nobody ain't coming to me. Well, you decide that. But no, that is illegal. I think we worth so much more than a few $100 or what is it, a gift basket every Christmas with a little toilet paper in it. We worth more than that. We have come to the stage where that is what the DLP